The Battle of Kursk took place in the Kursk salient, a geographical feature in the Soviet Union's southwestern region. After the German defeat at Stalingrad several months earlier, Hitler pressed ahead with Operation Citadel to strike a strategic blow against the Soviets. The salient had been created as a result of the German advances in 1942, which had driven the Soviets back. Soviet intelligence had intercepted German radio traffic and gathered information from spies, providing them with advanced notice of the German plans. They used this time to build an extensive defensive network. Operation Citadel was the brainchild of German Field Marshal Erich von Manstein and was intended to be a decisive strike against the Soviets. Hitler approved the plan, hoping to eliminate the Kursk salient and regain the strategic initiative on the Eastern Front. The battle witnessed the deployment of thousands of tanks on both sides. The tank warfare was fierce, with heavy losses incurred by both the German and Soviet armored units. Soviet General Georgy Zhukov oversaw the construction of an elaborate defensive system known as the Kursk Bulge, which included trenches, bunkers, minefields, and anti-tank obstacles. This network significantly slowed the German advance. The Germans introduced their formidable Tiger and Panther tanks at Kursk, boasting superior firepower and armor. On the other hand, the Soviet T-34 remained a reliable workhorse, capable of maneuvering in the rough terrain of the Eastern Front. The skies over Kursk saw intense aerial combat between the Luftwaffe and the Soviet Air Force. The Germans aimed to gain air superiority to support their ground forces, while the Soviets defended fiercely. The Soviets employed strategic deception, known as maskirovka, to mislead the Germans about the strength and location of their defenses. They utilized false radio traffic, dummy tanks, and other tactics to create confusion. Initially, the Germans made some progress, particularly in the southern part of the salient. They breached the initial Soviet defenses but faced increasingly stiff resistance. As the battle progressed, the Soviets launched counterattacks from the north and south of the salient, putting immense pressure on the German forces. These counterattacks pushed the Germans back and disrupted their plans. The Battle of Kursk was protracted and grueling, lasting for nearly 2 months. The continuous engagement placed a heavy toll on both sides, in terms of manpower and equipment. By August, the German forces were in retreat, having suffered heavy casualties and being unable to achieve their objectives. The Soviets had effectively blunted their offensive. The Battle of Kursk marked a turning point on the Eastern Front. The German army, which had previously dictated the course of events, had lost the initiative to the Soviets. Ultimately, the Soviets emerged victorious at Kursk. While it was a costly victory in terms of lives and equipment, it was a major achievement for the Red Army. The battle resulted in staggering casualties on both sides. Estimates vary, but it is believed that the Germans suffered over 200,000 casualties, and the Soviets, over 800,000. Kursk weakened the German army significantly and made it difficult for them to mount major offensives in the east. It marked a shift in the momentum of the war. Kursk was another failed offensive for the Germans. After this battle, the Soviets were on the offensive, and the Germans were forced to retreat. The Soviet victory at Kursk had a positive impact on the morale of the Allied forces in the West. It also increased support for the Eastern Front, as it was clear that the Soviets were a formidable adversary for the Germans. The success at Kursk allowed the Soviets to launch a series of offensives, including Operation Bagration in 1944, which eventually led to the liberation of Eastern Europe from German occupation. The Battle of Kursk is remembered as a pivotal moment in World War II. It showcased the determination and resilience of the Soviet people and military and contributed significantly to the eventual defeat of Nazi Germany in 1945.